Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 12th Man. Glad you joined us for this recording, a little roundup of the Champions League games for yesterday and today. We'll kick things off with the Arsenal qualification. So, I want to get your guys' reaction so far for what you saw of this game week.
You drew the game, innit? So you didn't win.
No, we didn't. We didn't. But yeah, the qualification was already guaranteed from the week before. It's just about making sure you got the top spot to try and get give yourself a better chance for the draw for the next round.
The top spot we was everything was already guaranteed. This is the problem with United fans here right now. Yeah, they're the biggest deflectors in the world. So it's like
We're talking
we
about Arsenal here.
we.
Why is United being mentioned
I'm
now?
just saying no, you're
We'll
because
we'll
you're
get to
saying
United, innit? Just stick to your club for once. Every time
I'm
it's
talking
always Man
about I'm
United with
talking
you.
about my club. I'm talking about my
Oh,
club.
okay, talk about your club then.
We didn't win yesterday. Boo hoo! If we
No, but
lost,
you
one.
put your second team, innit? But you go straight to United. Talk
We
about your
yeah
club.
we put out our bench team. A lot of Arsenal fans were angry because they were like, oh, they wanted to see some of the kids. They wanted to see Skelly. They wanted to see Ethan, even Royal Waters, people like this. They wanted to see these people, but I think Arteta did the right thing. He did. He said, okay, we could give debuts to Skelly, Nwaneri, and Waters, but if we need backup this season, for example, Cedric, he hasn't. I don't know the last time he played. These people need minutes. So these
Yeah.
Cedrics, Kiviors, Reese Nelsons, the people who will actually play if we have injuries, they're the ones who need to play. So I think Arteta did a really good job with not going for the hype of, oh, we need to see these kids. Well, these kids are gonna have chances. Like they're 16, they're 16, 17, 18, most of them. They're not like big kids where they're like 19, 20. Like these lot are gonna leave Arsenal anytime soon. So I think he did manage it well. He put out a good enough squad. It was a decent enough performance. I was more impressed with some
This week.
with some of their players, yeah,
Yeah.
like that Bakayoko and even Pepe. I would say like, whoa, might have to have another look at these lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
How about you, Ab?
I don't know. I mean, I agree there with Moses for with some of the points, right? Like it's this is the thing, like to keep the whole squad in match fitness. As he stated, the coach. It's an important thing. It's a key thing. Um, I enjoyed like watching Cedric play. Although I didn't think he had the best game, but the guy hasn't played all season. I don't even remember the last time he played for Arsenal, having spent last year on loan to Fulham, right? So yeah, it's been a while since he put on a shift for the Arsenal, but yeah, I really wanted maybe one or two of the kids to have a little go, to have a little crack, maybe start off with those. I love the fact that Reece Nelson had the full 90 minutes. Um,
Wait, can
stats
I ask
wise,
how
mm,
old is Reece Nelson? So I always hear this guy's name. The last one I remember from him last season was scoring that cracker. So he
I'm
scored
not going to even
a
answer that.
smashing
I'm
goal.
not sure.
Yeah,
Reese is about 20. Reese came through with like Maitland and Joe
Mm,
Willock and them, so he's like 25, 26, maybe
oh, so
27.
no,
he's
no,
a big man. He's like Rashford's
Yeah.
age.
no. I don't. I think he's probably a lot younger than that. I'd like to think he's younger than that. Because him and
Do you
Emil
know
Smith
what?
Rowe, I thought they came together. I don't
Someone
think he'll be
fact, someone
26.
fact check this.
Mm.
Well, clearly
Maybe,
you guys don't care about him because you don't know his age. But yeah, go on, carry on.
I mean,
no,
he put in a shift last year, right? We all remember
Yeah,
that game against Bournemouth and that last minute winner.
yeah.
But yeah, no, he's a great player. He's a great talent. Don't get me wrong. I loved his performance yesterday. I just still think he played on the wrong side. I'd have preferred him to be on the left, the Martinelli role as opposed to the Saka role. But yeah, I thought there was a lot of good performances. Ramsdale put a good shift. Havertz played really well. Um, yeah, some of the guys really turned up. It's a little bit of a shame it ended 1-1. But I think both teams were happy with that, even though
And the way,
yeah. Mm,
yeah, I was gonna say the way I look at it is more of okay, so if we take it as a whole,
mm,
Yeah.
Arsenal in back into the Champions League. We haven't been back in a long time. We have not played any games at all. We've said, all right, cool. We're back in the Champions League, top the group, no problem, no scares, no nothing. Blitz these teams, and that's what we've done. That's what we're meant to do. Do you get what I mean? We've seen other
absolutely, yeah.
teams like when they've been out of the Champions League. I don't really want to mention their names, but like we've seen like when they come out of the league, they come back into the Champions League and they don't get out of the group stage. So
Mm,
that's like just a
You're
certain
funny,
Joe
innit?
Mourinho mentioned it, but we're not going
Yeah,
to.
you said that in the group chat earlier, and you're saying yeah, football heritage. And I asked you, like, in that heritage regarding your club, I still haven't seen a Champions League medal around any of your managers' neck, or even a trophy ever enter the Emirates. Unless you guys were hosting the final or something, but other than that, I don't think Emirates has been hosting a Champions League final before. So heritage-wise, Arsenal's
That's
got nothing to do with the Champions League, or like just the glory part of it.
heritage
well,
Besides
wise,
the final,
heritage wise,
besides the
definitely not.
final.
But do you
Oh, so
see?
yeah, so why are you bringing up heritage when it comes to United
Because
then?
what
Fair
I'm
enough.
trying to say
I
is
digress. Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is the difference is when we've been out of the Champions League
What
and we
does it matter? You could be in or out. You just participating. You just got in the club. Like, all right,
but you
and
can't
what?
you can't say that we're in it
I
right now.
can. I can say happily my club has won it before. You can't
Okay,
say that. You're just
so
saying, oh,
you're so
because
you're
I
well
topped our
back.
group
well, we
with teams
actually
like
got robbed of a title. You know that,
no,
right?
you didn't.
The
No, no, you
the
didn't.
2006, it was been proven. Um, Barcelona had paid referees, and that particular referee
Yeah,
that was in
yeah,
charge of that
yeah.
game. That's a fact. That's no denying that. Yes, the game, didn't
Arsenal
turn
are
out
crook.
well. I still remember it like it was yesterday. We were
So do I.
absolutely robbed that game. But yeah,
Or
nevertheless,
worse than
it's our
Chelsea
own
did,
fault.
or on par.
Hmm?
Um,
See when Barca robbed Chelsea, is it on par that or you got
I wouldn't
cheated?
say that.
Or
Oh
Well,
no.
if they were paying refs,
Mm,
I mean, we don't know what was going on in it. We need those
yeah,
charges to come through and
yeah,
and see
exactly.
see what was happening. But even forget that. I'm just saying you're talking about heritage, yeah, and I'm just trying to say if you're talking about what was Arsenal's heritage when Mourinho was talking about this. So with Mourinho talking about heritage, he would have thought Arsenal are not gonna go through. We're not gonna top our group. We're not gonna be unbeaten. We're trying to create new heritage, and this is what we're doing. You lot are sticking to the same old script. The same script that Mourinho has said still
which is
applies
what.
to you now.
Do
It
you do
still
you even know
applies.
like
What do you
when
mean?
you're saying that at the time, I get what he was saying. At the same time, he's deflecting because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. You just hear saying, "Oh, because like, bro,
No,
what's I got
no.
to do at the time?"
When
That's on
when
you,
he
bro.
when he added his stat, he actually did something for you lot. So when he said he won the Europa League for you lot, and he said,
That's not Champions League, is it?
okay, no, but even when he was in the Champions League, he won the group where he
Yeah,
said what you lot were doing in the groups before that. You went out in the group stage.
yeah, and so he wanted to ignore what Ferguson did. No, like even Sir Bobby in Denmark, he wants to ignore that, right?
No, no. Well, obviously that's
Because if you want to talk about football, if you want to talk about Champions League heritage, blah blah blah, United is the first club in England to do the European thing, right? So he's even waffling. Like,
Not really. No,
yeah, not win it,
what
but
do you mean you?
they
I was thinking you're getting your history wrong.
no, you're getting the history wrong because with
no.
the
United.
with European football, the league football league didn't want European teams in European in the European football thing. They didn't want them to participate. This is like World War II times. Like they
Yeah.
didn't want that. But then Man United is only for the club that forced it and said, yeah, if you want to go and do, you might go and do your own thing. And then obviously eventually you guys came on board. Oh, we could do the history check. Don't worry, we could do a whole episode about it if you want to talk about heritage. Like my damn club. Anyway, go on, carry on.
I don't know what to tell you,
I
but
don't like Arsenal fans. You lot make my blood boil.
no, let me
Sorry.
tell you. Like, if you're talking about heritage, like not to be around the same point too much, but at that rate, then Forest have should be in there.
Yeah,
Villa
they
should
should.
be in there. They
They
both
should be
have
there.
chance. It's
I
I don't
shouldn't.
know. Like
To
as
me,
a first British team, it was actually Celtic who's actually
Yeah,
won
to
the
win. I didn't
Champions
say
League.
to
It
win. I didn't
was.
say to win. I said to
Um,
participate. This is to win.
no, to participate is one thing, you know. Like
Yeah.
India participated in the first ever World Cup, but they never qualified to the World Cup ever since. That's heritage as well. You can argue. But you know, let's not. Besides that, like I think
Yeah.
United actually didn't deserve the defeat. They had a decent game. Um, but I was really disappointed with Bayern more than happy with United's performance. I wanted to see a 6-0 drubbing, but
I
it
wanted,
was
I
one
wanted them to
nil.
beat, I
I
wanted them
was
to beat.
furious. I was like, what the hell's going on? You know? But yeah, for some
Yeah.
reason, Thomas Tuchel just let you guys off the hook, like genuinely let you guys off the hook. They could have been, on it instead of a little practice run, which it seemed like a training practice or something for Bayern. But yeah, luckily we avoided them in the next round, and you don't know. The good omen I was telling you about earlier. I don't know if Moses
Yeah.
knows this, but last time Arsenal got to the Champions League final, United finished bottom of their group.
Oh,
So
I saw that. I saw that today. Yeah, I
so
did.
yeah, fingers
So what
crossed.
is you
Thank you,
trying to say history is
United.
repeating itself?
Listen,
Uh,
Right,
listen.
all right, but
You know,
cool. Just so like I'll be there. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna be there. That's all I'm
okay,
that's
saying.
cool. That's cool.
and
All right, cool.
do you know what? Yeah, because we're not just gonna skate over this stuff, honestly, because
I'm gonna
sometimes
be there.
you can say you can, but you know what you're doing. You're waiting for the downfall
I'm
of
not waiting for anything. I'm just saying I'm gonna be there. That could be when you win or you lose. I'm just gonna be there.
okay,
I'm just saying what
and
I'm gonna do.
okay.
You're
Me
taking
and
it in a negative way. Why are you taking it negative, bro? You believe in your
that's
team, right?
that's
I'm
fine.
just saying I'm gonna be there. That's all.
And me and Al are here right now when you've crashed out
Yeah,
of
and I'm
the
here.
Champions League,
I, I, I'm here.
bottom of bottom of your group. As Al, I don't know if you saw this stat because I saw another stat.
Mm.
There's only two English teams to finish bottom of their Champions League groups in Champions League history. Both are Man United, by the way. Just to
I
throw
was
out.
just thinking for a second, who might that be? Who might that be? I was like, I know United's one of them, but turns out both
Yeah.
of them. Wow,
You guys
that's
are
an
funny.
achievement. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
like, cool. Like I said, I'm gonna be there. All I'm saying.
So I'm no, but I'm literally just saying, yeah, it's honestly with Man United,
Being United, yeah, yeah.
yeah, what you've done is disgraceful. It's
What would like win the Champions League 3 times?
is that what we're talking about?
Oh, I didn't know you're saying what we're done is disgraceful. I was like, oh, I don't say what like what you've done. You
Listen,
topped your group and
and okay,
yeah,
so
like you never topped a group before in Champions League and nothing came from it. So it's
nothing
not the
came
first
from
time you
it,
topped a group, is it?
but what I'm gonna say, I'm saying I think you're out of this competition because of
Oh no,
your signing, yeah. So
yeah.
as in even I don't know who was making the decisions at United, if it's just Eric, if there's someone else above him, all of that sort of stuff. But it's for him to get rid of De Gea, like just completely, because to me De Gea he's going on the free. Give him a year contract. If Onana is stinking up the joint, you could easily bring De Gea back in. You could say, all right, cool. You know what? You made a mistake last match.
Bro, they did him dirty. They did him dirty as well,
Do you know what I
United.
mean? De Gea
Nah,
Yeah,
to
ain't
be
even
fair,
no.
he
United
ain't
have
got
done
a
that a
job,
few
bro.
times to a few players. It's not the hair's not the first. They did it to Roy Keane. They did it to Yapstam. I even heard White Yapstam. You should watch when you have a chance. Watch it. But yeah,
Mm.
that's not the first time United have done that. They got a horrible.
I saw that the Yapstam thing, and I think
It's
he
horrible,
seems a
man.
bit disappointed with Ten Hag.
Yeah, it is. But we all are. No one's skating over that. Like it's been trash. And
Yeah,
again,
like
it's like some of these signings just don't make sense to me. Like the one I hate the most that still makes my blood boil. Like no, Mr. Number 7. Yeah, if ever I don't, let's just not speak about that guy. 'Cause
like in terms of achievements, correct me if I'm wrong. The guy was an assistant to Pep Guardiola for 1 year at Bayern, right?
I
And
don't
then he
think so. No,
coached
he was in charge
Ajax.
of the. He was in charge of the Bayern B team, I think. So
So he
yeah,
might
we're
have just
working together.
overseen things from afar, not even be in the same room. God, yeah, I
Mm.
don't know, like how they pick him, but honestly, like
No,
in
I'll
terms
say
of,
again.
mm,
Go on, go on.
no, no, I was gonna say in terms of like recruitment, if you're gonna that's like the coach should ultimately be the foundation, the guy who sets the entire squad,
And
sacks people, hires people, right? If you get that wrong, then everything else is just it's a domino effect, right? You're gonna just have defaulting issues that are just gonna keep popping up left, right, and center. Um, they had some. This is the issue. Like in my mind, I thought they were a great team. Fergie was there. Never liked the guy, but I respect him a lot. I think you know what
Wait,
he
why
knows
did
what
you
he's
like him?
doing. I give him that. No, I respect him. I just don't. I never liked him. The guy
I
had
don't you
his
like
own
him?
way about
I need to understand
referees.
why you don't like him.
He pretended like he was above the law,
Pretended,
and
you know.
we've all seen that. Like coaches, referees, anybody who came to Old Trafford playing United, you're guaranteed 5 minutes stoppage time, even though there was not a single minute. You guarantee back in those days. We're not talking about new VAR days where there's like 12 silly minutes or something. Back in those
yeah.
days where it's max a minute you get, they'd only count goals, not even substitutions. United would guarantee 5 minutes if they're behind, or if they're not winning. If they're winning, you're getting 1 minute
So
if
you
you're lucky, you know?
want to say that like it
Mm.
wasn't the other team wasting time that those minutes could have been added. You're just saying because of Ferguson who did that, my guy,
Mate, the
we got
guy,
more time.
the
Listen,
looks he
let's
gave referees while chewing that gum rigorously, like it make anybody freaking scared. They'd be like, "All right, you get the 5 minutes." No, but like all jokes aside, like the guy knew his stuff, and I respected him for that, right? He was a winner. He did that for years and years, and then you brought in David Moyes, which I think, in my opinion, from Everton, David Moyes made them a Premier League team, a household Premier League team. Yes, they were never going to win the league, probably not even an FA Cup, but they were never going to be relegated. He was a good coach, right, with limited finances, and all of a sudden he's at a big club, and the guy's got like 10 times the pressure, pushed out the door quite quickly, and if anything, if so, United absolutely adore. Well, let's be honest, Ferguson made Man United. There was no Man United before Ferguson. He won all the league titles, all the Champions League titles in his era.
He
Before
didn't
that,
win
Man
20.
United was a
He
glorified
didn't win
Aston
26
Villa.
league titles. He won 13. So there's league titles before him.
13. When was the last time before that? That's the
It
question.
was a while,
You
like
know.
20 years.
There you go. Thank you. So that's the point. The guy won endless trophies in a short space of time compared to you compare it to the whole history, right? All the coaches they've had before. He was the most successful. Like I'm not sure if he's got a stand named after him yet, or there's a statue
He does.
outside, but there should
Yeah,
be.
it's the Alex
You know.
Ferguson stand. Yeah, he's got one.
So yeah, I mean, and rightly so. The great coach, Moyes thrown on the bus very quickly, and then you're having
Ah,
these
was
great
yeah.
coaches that are coming in and being kicked out way too soon. Mourinho never liked the guy, but he had some tactic. Absolutely
You don't
hated
need to
him.
like
Like I've
anyone
never
now if
hated
it's
him.
not Arsenal related, is it? You don't
No,
like
this is
no
the
one if it's
thing.
not
No,
Arsenal related.
there's this guy Mourinho is like the worst I've ever. But he wins the things. That's the
But he,
worst part.
but he's
He
comedy
wins them.
gold.
he's what?
He's comedy gold, man. I love him. Like he's just the stuff he comes out with. Is nah, man. I love
No,
Jose.
I only like Mourinho when he wasn't part of the Premier League, really and truly.
Uh,
So when
Yeah,
he
exactly.
was, if he was
Like
United
Inter or
manager,
something. Yeah.
Spurs manager, Chelsea manager, I can't like him. But when he's a pundit, oh yeah,
Mm,
let me watch San Marino. When he's
mm,
in room at Real Madrid, Inter,
mm,
that's fine. I'm cool.
yeah.
But if
well,
he's
as
here,
you guys are United centric, do you want to talk about the other United who went out today? The fake United,
Oh,
as I like to
oh.
call them.
I'm very happy. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of their antics recently. Like I get it. If you're trying to break into the top four, right, to the so-called top six, let's say that, all of a sudden you want to be part of the big boys. Let me put it in plain English, right? You're gonna come in, you're gonna rustle some feathers or whatever they call it. You're gonna try and make as much noise as possible, but you're gonna have some sort of some discipline, self-respect. for the other teams that have been there, done that year in, year out for
Mhm.
decades. You know, if you come in and all of a sudden, we're here, we've got the money, we've got the bank, the cash and whatever, and the open checks, it doesn't make
Yeah.
you a big team. Like, I still don't think,
Nah.
I'm absolutely convinced that Chelsea is not a big team, right? Yes, they've won titles
Mm.
recently,
You're gonna
but
rustle
they've
some
won as
feathers there.
no, this is the thing. Like, they've won as many as Aston Villa. Everton have more titles and trophies than Chelsea, so surely Everton should be a big team, right?
Do you know what?
That's a solid fact.
I kind of feel what you're saying because, like, as we spoke about earlier, Moses, or even like over the last couple of weeks, Chelsea fans are acting like Chelsea doesn't exist anymore because they're not winning. Like, they're not really
That's
talkative, are they? They don't. They're too busy talking
no,
about other players or United here and there. They take joy when Man United don't win because it makes them feel better about themselves. But there's no more.
mm,
There's no more noise. It's like they only supported their club when they won.
And
glory
that's
hunters.
I
Baffling
think
to me.
that's I think yeah, that's the sign of that's the I don't know, that's there's no strength in the fan base, I'm guessing. Because it's like
Yeah.
Arsenal, bruv, we listen, Al, how long have we been in the mud for, bruv? Like
Like, this is, yeah, we
that's
had that for years, bro,
what I'm saying. So it's
and we
like
took it humbly on the chin. We didn't freaking moan. We didn't
you know,
abandon our
you know,
club. We
you
didn't
know,
say no.
yeah, but you know what I think is I don't think they can really I don't think they can really deal with it, to be honest. Because as we can even go back to Newcastle now, like you've got clubs like Newcastle coming up. You've got clubs like even I can't say they're coming up, but even like Villa,
Mm,
who are like, oh, they just get a manager 18 months ago, and oh now they haven't spent as much money as everyone else, but oh they're just there, and Chelsea are in 12th. So I think it's very hard to take for them. They're not used to this. They're really
mm,
not like the older Chelsea fans, the ones that are like let's say
Ian.
35 plus,
Yeah.
those sort of
mm,
Chelsea fans, they've seen more bad times. The ones who are younger, the ones who are like, let's say 28 and younger, oh, oh, they're struggling. They're not used to this at all. They've been used to even when they're bad, they win trophies. So
mm,
that's what it is. But
exactly.
if we go back to the subject, which was
Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah, I would say with them, it's like because I feel like they robbed us in the Premier League. I was a bit happy about it, but then at the same time, I wanted like a couple more Prem teams through. I'm happy with
Mhm.
United going out regardless. I never want United to do well, but if it could have been City, Newcastle, and Arsenal through, I would have taken that. But I think for their first time back in the Champions League, gave it a good effort, man. They battered PSG, sorry, um, a few weeks ago and whatever. So I think it's a good effort for their first time back. Like
I wanted him to get Europa.
it was a very tough group as well. So
Mm.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah.
they didn't like they fought all the way to the end. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah, give
I
credit
wanted
where
him
it's
to get
due.
Europa
Like, they
League.
had a group of death. Sorry, bro. They had
yeah,
the group of death. They called it, right. Dortmund, PSG, AC Milan. Like, in terms of household names, you don't get bigger than that. At
Yeah.
least in the modern era, right?
yeah.
Um, and they put in a good show everywhere they went. Like, except, like, if anything, if you look back as a fan, of Newcastle, the one game I'd be disappointed with is not today's game. I'd be disappointed at the AC Milan game away at Milan. It was their first game
Yeah.
with the champ, and
Hmm.
I watched that game. It was the most boring thing you could ever watch, and AC Milan looked like an average Ipswich town. With all due respect, right? Like, they could have taken them, but they just tapped back. They thought, we'll take a point. No, go for it. This isn't
Yeah,
one of those where you have like 38 games you can catch up. It's 6 games.
yeah. I think what we saw from them, we
Mm,
saw their we saw how new they were to the Champions League. They were that listen, to me personally, I'm looking at that group. Newcastle are the second best team in that group because people do not want to come to St James's Park. But I
no,
think
exactly.
what their problem was that it was away from home that they really didn't. They weren't brave enough. I think they were taking it, as you just said, with 38 games in Premier League. So they're thinking, oh yeah, let's just get a point. But it's like, no, you can take these guys on. You guys are actually, you're good. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
But it's like they don't have that belief. I don't know if that stems from the manager. I don't know if
Mm.
that stems from the players. Maybe some of the core players that they still have. Maybe that's the mentality of them. But they could have got at some of these teams. Like they were robbed at PSG, obviously with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
last minute penalty
100%.
and stuff like that. So I think it was. I don't think they can be embarrassed from this first
No.
showing in the Champions League.
No.
Nah.
Um, I don't know if
I
they'll
still
be
wish they
that
got the
yeah.
Europa League. I wanted the extra games added to them just to mess up their squad even more. So I keep hearing
Yeah.
them cry about injuries. Just wanted Europe. Yeah, go to Kazakhstan and play there. Like, it's
Mm,
far, isn't it?
Yeah. Now
But
that's the different
yeah.
perspective between Arsenal fans and United fans. Like we're not worried about that far down in the league. You guys are. You're trying to catch up. We're like, you know what?
Yeah.
You're never catching up with us. But yeah, yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
yeah, no, like exactly. To touch on what Moses just said, it's they played. They did themselves proud at home. Like the games that they played at home, genuinely enjoyed watching. I was like, you know,
mm,
what a game. And it explains why every single Premier League team hates going to St James's Park. I don't know if anybody likes to go there.
I don't know. I
You
don't
just
know
don't want to go there.
what.
Yeah.
Listen, you look at
Mm.
St James's Park here, and you see like these. Listen, you see these obese Caucasian men with their shirts off in
It's winter.
-2. Like it's
Yeah.
long. Who wants to
Right.
go there? No one wants to go there. Come on,
Exactly. Yeah.
no one wants to go there.
Well,
Well, we'll see
speaking
what
of,
they do next year, right?
yeah, that's if
I
they
don't, I
make it.
don't, I don't think they'll make
I don't think
Champions
they
League,
make it.
but I think they'll make Europe though. I do
Mm.
think they'll make Europe, and
Uh,
it's not bad. It's not a bad show, man. I don't think they have anything to be disgraced about. It's not like Man United. Like,
oh,
No,
shut up,
no,
man.
no. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Obviously, your clubs, for once, have done something well. So you're in the last 16. Who do you think you man can draw? And obviously that other useless club, Man City.
Yeah.
What are you lot thinking? Who can you not draw, like realistically? Who do you want to avoid? And who like
Practically everyone we can draw. Like both English teams finished top, right? So that little barrier where you know, you're not going to draw this particular team or that particular is not there anymore. Like any second position team, either of the teams can draw, except obviously the ones from your group.
yeah,
So out of the 8 groups, we know PSV is the only team we're not getting.
yeah.
So it could be Napoli, it could be Inter, Lazio, Porto. Obviously, I'm praying for Copenhagen, but just don't know. It could be
That's
anybody, man.
that's the show Matt's done, innit?
Yeah.
yeah, oh for sure.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I want to avoid the Italian teams. Like they're it's a messy game, like we saw against Newcastle and Milan today. It's yeah, the tactic. Like I don't know if we'd have that mentality just yet. I'd prefer a team that's willing to have a goal as opposed to like AC Milan. If you watch today's game, they practically looked like they were happy with 0-0 or a defeat in the first half, and the second half out of the blue, they're in the game. They made substitutions and they want to attack and they want to score. Um, I just can't deal with that mentally. I prefer a decent team that's actually, willing to go for it.
Gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
not an Italian team, ideally, for me.
yeah, that's what I'd echo. I would really want to avoid Napoli. I don't. If we get
Mm,
Napoli, just know I'm upset, hundred
yeah.
percent. But I just want a team that wants to play us. When we've played in the Champions League this season, um, the teams have not been scared of us, which I actually like because
Mm,
they haven't shown the same respect. They're here like, okay, yeah, you go, we go, you go, we go. PSV, all right, cool, 4-0, 6-0 Lens. Because these teams, they don't have the same fear factor as the Premier League teams. We face people in the Premier League. low block, everyone's scared. Oh, they're all scared of us. They don't want to let us create chances. They don't want to go machine for machine. They don't want to do that. But
Mm.
in the
Are you all
Champions
right? Well,
League,
so I have to stop you there. Like,
go on.
when has that never been the case for Arsenal?
What do you mean?
Like, you're going to like teams just doing low blocks and not like, what are you on about?
I'm saying that
You're saying
as
that
in,
under Wenger that wasn't the case.
no, it was. We've faced low blocks in our lifetime. But what I'm
Oh, because
trying
you're
to
Yeah.
saying
say
that
is,
you're making it sound like it's a new thing. I was like, what the hell are you on about? Like,
No,
no,
it
no,
is. It
no,
is.
no.
you always get that.
As in, no. Now it's completely different. It's from the start of games. People are here and they're just ready to shut up shop and say we're. So what teams do now? Yeah, they would be like, we're gonna defend and we're gonna be well resolute, all that sort of stuff, and then they're gonna try it in certain moments to come for us. And for me, it's just that doesn't happen in the Champions League, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, no,
There's a
please.
complete
Yeah.
difference. Yeah. So in the Champions League, when we faced PSG, PSG, no, PSV, they just came like, let's go. Even yesterday, when they were facing our second team, they came. They should have beat us personally. I
Yeah.
think they had so many chances. I think we did well. Like Ramsdale made a lot of good saves and stuff like that. But it's just that it's. I feel like there's a difference with the mindset. So, like for example, uh, well, I'm touching on which we'll touch on it on another day as well. But Brighton, I don't think Brighton are gonna come to the Emirates and park the bus. They're not gonna do a low block. I'm just trying
Mm.
to
No.
say a lot of those teams that are lower down, that is what they try to do. And the Champions League is not the same. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
exactly. No, it's a fair point. Even back in the day when you mentioned the Arsene Wenger era, like what we always forget is that during the Arsene Wenger era, it was 23 years in a row. Arsenal weren't just a first time where they'd been out for 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is. No, we were
Yeah.
there year after year.
Oh,
So people knew what to expect
they
and they knew
knew
they were going to get a tough team
exactly.
to play.
Exactly.
Nowadays, they're like, oh, they're back after whatever years. And
Maybe we can get at them.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, it's a fair point. Like a lot
Mm.
of them did have a go. Not many did. Funny enough, the game that we lost against Lons away was the only game where a team actually sat back. They defended from the start and they hit us with the
Yeah,
counter.
they
But
did.
we played poor. We only lost that game not because their formation worked out or their plan worked out. It wasn't. It was actually us not taking our chances because we had sitters that game, one sitter after another, and we just didn't take any. But yeah, no, it's for the draw. Honestly, like it's I still think whatever team we'll get will try and have a go at us. But realistically, it's still with the average age of the players, we're still a very young team. I know we've been there for the Premier League followers. We've been there for years and years and whatever. Everyone's
Can
used
I
to
know who
seeing
you
Saka. Hmm.
can I know who you fear, like who you don't want? Like, do you want Madrid, Real
Oh
Madrid?
no, we can't draw them. Luckily,
Oh, yeah, they're top of their group. I got yeah.
yeah. No, the other teams that we can draw, like speaking about this, it's not just Arsenal or City. This is the teams that we were likely to face, right? So you got um, Inter and Lazio and Napoli, the three Italian teams. Milan is out now. All three of them
Ali,
finished second.
Ali don't want nothing to do with Italians.
Bro, like I just,
Don't want no pizza,
I
no
love the
pasta.
football. No, the catenaccio is not something that I like. Like their joy in football is to sit and defend, and I
Mm.
hate teams that defend. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan,
Yeah,
it's
no.
about going for it, not defending.
Mm.
And besides that, we got Porto. Now, in that group with Barcelona, it was between Porto and Shakhtar Donetsk today to qualify. Yes, Porto were at home, but they absolutely thumped Shakhtar 5-3. Right?
Yeah.
Like they could have had more.
Mm.
Only saw highlights, but my God, like if they can score five at home, and I'm pretty sure they did a number on Barcelona, um, like it wasn't a comfortable journey. So that's four out of the possible seven that we can draw that
Mm.
I'd like to avoid, Porto or the Italians. Besides that, like I'm not even sure if yeah, like we've got I know Atletico, not Atletico. Sorry, I don't remember all of them right now, but Copenhagen was the one that I chose initially
Yeah,
when I looked at the groups. I was like, "Yep, that's the one. Let's pray for that one."
yeah.
But yeah, it could go either
But
way.
yeah, for me, I'm just it's Napoli that I'm worried about. Even though I know what you're saying with the defensive teams, but I
Mm.
still think we'll have too much for them. Do you get what I mean? Over two
Yeah,
legs, I
yeah,
think we will. If you want to be, you're gonna park the bus for 180 minutes. I will back us in that. But Napoli is someone who obviously this season they haven't been as good, but last season they've shown obviously they won the what do you call it? What do you call it? In the is
the
it called?
Serie A,
Yeah, that's no. But what's the
the
Italian word for it?
um,
Is it the
Scudetto.
Scudetto?
Yeah,
Yes, we
Scudetto.
did.
Isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah. So yeah, they won the Scudetto, and first time in 40 years or whatever, or since
Yeah,
Maradona was with them. So, and the firepower they showed then, they haven't shown it this season, but they still do have the same players. So I know
Mm.
that can click at any moment. I can't say, for example, I've been saying Arsenal's forward line is going to click. I'm like, just let it play, and it's going to
Mm.
click. And it hasn't clicked as of yet all the way, but it's the same with them. They haven't clicked fully, but it's still the same players. So if they get it going, then they can crash it on us. They
Hundred
yeah.
really
percent.
can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
So that's the team that I'm most worried about. These other teams like, for example, Inter, even Lazio, uh, we can't get Atletico Madrid, but all these defensive teams, I would back us over them. It's more the teams that I think that have something going the other way that I'm more worried about at this stage anyway. Because when in the group stage and stuff like that, we could go bar for bar, we go, and I just think we're better.
Now it's a bit more tactical now because
Now it's a bit more
yeah,
okay.
there's a
Look,
lot at stake.
you've
Yeah,
got Oshiman running at you and
yeah, it's not.
Caradonna. You know what I mean? Then it's a bit long, you know. It's not the same as PSV's people or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. So my
Mm.
last question for you: how far do you think Arsenal can realistically make it? I know everybody want to reach the final and stuff, but
Shit.
realistically,
Yeah.
where do you see it going?
Where do hmm.
Yeah,
Well, just before you start with that, the other two teams we forgot to mention just now is PSG and Leipzig that we could ultimately draw.
No,
Uh,
not,
yeah,
I'm not worried about Leipzig, and
yeah,
PSG. I'm only worried about that Kylian guy, man. Jeez.
yeah. That's the thing with PSG. They could have an on game and they just brush you
man.
aside, but most of the time they don't, do they?
Do you know if you play PSG? I saw them against Newcastle, and I spoke to Hugo
Mm,
when I was discussing the game with him. He's like, "Oh, you had them control." I'm like, "Mate, you parked the bus against them. You made it difficult." So I'm thinking, if they play Arsenal, you're going to go for machine. I don't
mm.
think you want to go for machine for machine with PSG because that Mbappe and even a lot of people don't rate Dembele. I think that kid he's injury prone. He's not perfect, but like that kid's deadly. Like give
No,
it
he
like
is.
give me space at
He
your own
is.
peril. Is what I'm saying.
As a squad, they're pretty decent. Like I was just watching the highlights just a second ago about the for the Dortmund game, um, and they've actually missed a few sitters. They could have won that game comfortably. I know they had a goal disallowed, but they had a few sitters where they've got this new kid Zaire Emery. I'm not sure. Like I've barely watched him in one game, I think, but there's a lot of hype around him.
He's a he's
Um,
he's a serious player. He's going to be a top
yeah,
player.
yeah. So they got talent. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, like this is the thing. If we get a decent team, and this is like I remember the Arsene Wenger era, right? And any time he was asked about these draws, he'd say, "We want the biggest team." Um, Ultimately, you're in this tournament to play the best of the best. So if you're not going to beat them now, what's the point? Or are you saving them to the final? So
you
yeah,
got
I'd
you
rather,
got to beat them eventually, innit? So
yeah, yeah. Like I really don't mind as long as I. it's a good game of football. Yes, by all means, not one of those where both legs are decided by one goal. No, I
Yeah,
don't mind. We either hammer them or we get hammered. I'd be happy with that. Just not a one goal game kind of thing.
yeah. Not a
Don't
bore.
do
Don't want
that
to be
to
bored.
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because if we look at realistically, um, okay, I'm saying we, but let me speak
Mm,
for myself. You might not think the same, but so for example, I look to Bayern, I look to Man City, and I look to Real Madrid, and
hmm
those are the teams where I'm like, okay, I want to avoid them as long as possible, and obviously we're not gonna face them in the next round at least. So realistically,
mm,
and I hope this doesn't come back to bite me,
You know.
I do not care who we get. We should be going through.
yeah.
I don't care because those are the teams that I'm actually scared of. Bayern Munich and Bayern Munich, we've even got a chance because of Tuchel Bernani, because that
Mm,
one he's not a serious manager, but that's a different discussion. But Bayern Munich, Man City, and Real Madrid. Those are the teams that I'm most worried about. The other teams, I do like, as in when I'm saying those teams, those are
yeah.
the teams I think if they beat us, I would just be like, okay, they're better than us. But with these other teams, everyone else, I think we should be beating them over two legs. We should.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll tell you what I wish for is any team in the next round, and then the following round, I want to play Barcelona. Um, Hopefully they
No
make it. But I'll tell
offense.
you why. They're not in the best shape, are they? Right?
No, they're not.
And
But
they're
they
not
still
the
got deadly
Barcelona of
players.
the old days. Well, yeah, but
Yeah, and they might still be paying refs. You never know.
mate, we had, if you remember this, but we had, what was it? Barcelona drawn 5 times in a row, and then Bayern drawn 5 times in a row, or something like that. It was one or two teams for 10
It was
years. That's the
ridiculous.
only teams we played. So yeah, I'd like to have both, but you know, ideally, this is the thing. Like finishing top has an advantage, right? You get to play the first game away from home, so your second game is at home with your fans. If you try and play a decent game, not too attacking, come away with a 1-1, a 1-0, whatever, a
Yeah,
decent scoreline, not somewhere where you have something that you have to chase. And even if you do, if it goes freaking all wrong, you're playing at home, back at the Emirates,
of course.
turn it up. Um, as long as we don't do anything like what happened yesterday, we're playing Declan Rice as a centre back. Like I know he could do it, but don't do that. You know. But yeah, it's um, it's looking good. It's looking good. It's a shame. Like I'd have liked to see United in there just to have one more laugh, but they always cut it short.
We'll be back next year.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, yeah. I will be back.
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's leave it here, lads. Yeah, catch us back here tomorrow. Try that tomorrow.
Guys,
See you guys.
All right, sweet.
guys.